Good morning, this is Liza Leong.
And this is Charles Arboleda.
And I am Ann Santal. Welcome to this pilot episode of Business and Beyond.
This show will look at business issues, prospects, and opportunities as we bring you the highlights of the biggest business news and events during this week.
We also have snapshots of Filipino cultures including tourist spots, traditions, leisure and pleasure activities, products and services. Join us in this latest Friday morning habit, Business and Beyond.
Immediately after he was inaugurated on June 30, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte convened his cabinet in its first official meeting in Malacanang to start work on the 10-point agenda unveiled in Davao last month.
With what incoming President Duterte said, that he wants to see more industrial estates developed in the country to provide work and economic progress for the country. No?
I see an opportunity of attracting Spanish investors in the Philippines with the advent of the new government.
We deal before many times with governments. And the first thing they ask, we want to have 10% paid under the table before even there's a project. The country needs a strong government who clean up the government.
Meanwhile, Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel F. Piñol stressed that he will focus on the department's mandate of producing food for the country's needs. The government is set to revolutionize Philippine agriculture to raise rural productivity and also pour massive public investments into human capital to improve the country's educational system and widen public access to health services. Also in the priority list is addressing the traffic problem, as emergency powers are being eyed for the President to quickly solve the issue. Trade Secretary Ramon M. Lopez has also unveiled specific projects to help particularly micro, small, and medium enterprises develop and gain more market share. This includes free retail spaces in malls and the nationwide implementation of the Mentor Me, a series of free business seminars for new and existing entrepreneurs. Like the cabinet, the business community is also expected to push for the lowering of the corporate tax, which remains the highest among those in Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN members. In the meantime, many departments have started to reorganize with new appointments to key positions. The cabinet secretaries expressed hope that with their current team, they will be able to push the inclusive growth target of the Duterte administration.
This is the Talking Business segment of Business and Beyond. We have the honor and pleasure to welcome the head of the country's biggest business organization, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. George Barcelon. Sir, thank you for coming and joining us this morning. Yes, we continue to talk about the 10-point economic agenda of the President, which was unveiled to the business sector in Davao a month ago. Meanwhile, PCCI has also an agenda we call Giant Steps.
Right.
Help me out here, sir. Giant Steps is an acronym for...
Well, Giant Steps is the acronym for, each letter means something.
Okay.
To start with, Giant, it's a 5-letter word. Start with G. So G stands for good governance. Basically, for good governance, we hope that the new government can reduce the bureaucracy, if not totally eliminate it. So there are much more in the good governance, but that in itself covers quite a big issues that has to be dealt with. The second word is I. I stands for infrastructure. We know very well that this is one area that has been the public clamoring. And on top of the list is really the ICT, the telecommunication. We all of us experience the slowness of our broadband, and it's very for the country to grow further. I think that has to be addressed. The third letter of giant is A, and this is something that I think the new government has realized and will focus on. It's about agriculture. Agriculture meaning to say that they have to look at the farm to market roads, they have to have proper irrigations, and they have to have post-harvest facilities. The fourth letter is N. Okay. The N stands for the new era of manufacturing. Why new era? The new era connotes that we are environmentally acceptable. Wherein, nowadays when you talk about climate change, sometimes there's a negative twist to it. Parang pagka manufacturing, the emission, environment. Okay, so we're talking about that. Last letter is T, and that's tourism. And this is something that yes, we have been growing, but we would like the government to really push further for growth. Now the enabler, we just mentioned about giant. The enabler steps, and this again is one of the things that we pointed out in the 10-point agenda of the new government. That's science, technology, education, E. P is people skill. And the last S is the source of financing, which is really to help the MSMEs.
See a fit between the 10-point agenda and giant
Yes,
steps.
yes.
But this is so huge, a reform package.
Yes.
But do you think this can be done in 6 years, or can we talk of priorities first? Or is this a whole package that needs to be done to push the country forward?
Yeah. So I leave it to the government, wherein what are the milestone that they would want to achieve on the first, second, third, fourth, 5 year. But definitely we will see some improvement.
Okay. Last na lang, sir. Any concluding messages to the incoming administration and to the stakeholders of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry?
Changes does not come so fast. We have to understand. Okay? There is a high expectation. We know, especially for the masses who voted for him. Also from the businessman side, we have expectations also, but we have to be realistic. We have to give them enough time.
Did you say how much time?
They have already, I think, a roadmap that they would follow.
Okay.
So I'm very hopeful.
Okay, yes. We are all hopeful, sir.
Yes, yes.
And thank you again, Mr. Barcelon, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa, for giving me this opportunity to share with you some of the our advocacy in PCCI.
Thank you, sir. It's a
Maraming
honor.
salamat.
Yes.
Thank you.
We come back for the second portion of the Talking Business segment of Business and Beyond. We are back at the Talking Business segment of Business and Beyond. We have the privilege to have with us this morning another influential business leader, the head of the country's umbrella organization of Philippine exporters, the Philippine Exporters Confederation, Inc., Mr. Sergio Ortiz-Luis Jr. Welcome, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir. We continue to talk about the 10-point economic agenda of the President, which was formally presented to the business sector in Davao last month. The business sector in general and in principle approved of the agenda and expressed support. In the meantime, the export industry has its own very specific set of strategies and plan we call the Philippine Export Development Plan. Do you see the plan in any of the 10-point agenda? And if any, are there gaps? And how do you think will these gaps be addressed?
Well, definitely, PHILEXPORT was part of those who made the giant step of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce, which gelled with the 10-point agenda of the incoming government or the new administration. So obviously, many of the aspirations in the export development plan was basically there also. What they basically ease of doing business, cutting of red tape, infrastructure which is badly needed by exporters also, and support for some of the developmental and promotional aspect of the export strategy in the export development plan.
Okay, the exporters especially have to push the successful implementation of both giant steps and the 10-point agenda, and even especially of the PEDP, because export performance is declining in the past 15 months. Now, for factors that we can control internally in the country, what are these that we can identify to arrest the continuing decline?
Well, first and foremost, I think is the ease of doing business aspect and the regulations. Recently, in spite of the fact that we are having difficulties already with our major markets and the decline of export, regulations continue to come up. So, and we have been egging the government under the Export Development Plan to allow some amount of money that can be used for promotional and development aspect of the export sector. And this we have always given in the past, and hopefully the new administration will be able to address some of these things.
Sir, the decline in the export performance, has this influenced a change in the targets? What are the targets now, sir?
Our original target for 2016 was in the level of 8.8%. Having been being in the middle of the year.
This is total exports.
Yes, and it is mid-year, and we are still in the negative territory. I doubt very much if we will be ending near to 8.8 or 9% to round it off. So we are looking at the lower side, which is 6.5. I'm not even sure whether that is attainable. It became now a hard target. No? So we just hope that something will break through in relation to our major market, that the problems will be over, that there will be no new things that will come up, and hopefully we can come up with a little positive for the end of the year.
Okay. Sir, agriculture and manufacturing are in the plans, no? In the 10-point agenda and in giant steps, but services is not. And yet we're expecting more from services.
Well, services was an addition to the export sector before. We have always looked at the export development plan in the past as export of manufactured goods. But now it looks like the services is the one that is consistently growing, you know? And I think its share now is in the vicinity of 10%, 12%, and it's still growing. And so we look at the plan, and then at the end of the day we add up the services and look at the difference, because now the export services is part of the plan.
Yes. Sir, it seems this is another full 6 years under this administration, and you are so busy with PhilExport and PCCI and other organizations. Do you ever sleep?
Oh,
Do you have time to relax?
If people think that we work that hard, then they're mistaken.
How do you spend your R&R?
Well, you know that in the past, I personally had no exercise. My exercise was swimming in the mahjong table before, even staying up late, and smoking a lot. And that stopped a few years back. I had to stop it, and we took up golf for the first time 6 years ago, and now we try to regularly do our thing in golf. No? Not to be much better, but as an exercise, and we try to make time for it.
It's a good health habit.
Yeah, and I feel much better now than I felt 6 years ago.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz, for joining us. Thank you very much. So it's confirmed, ladies and gentlemen, CEOs are also human beings. They also take a rest and they also play. Let's watch the next segment to see the other leisure options which CEOs may enjoy, and so do ordinary mortals like us.
Since President Duterte announced his candidacy, Davao, the president's hometown, has been attracting extra attention and visits from tourists and businessmen. The buzz is generating increased income even for small businesses that are trying to make their own niches. Let's take a look, for example, at the coolest night spots in Davao City, with businessmen, tourists, students, and young families strolling, dining, or simply passing time listening to music. Among its famous tenants is Blue Gray, a coffee shop specializing in durian coffee.
First coffee shop in Davao, yung mga Davaoenyo talaga, they have the ownership for Blue Gray. So, pag may mga bisita talaga, they are proud na dalhin sila dito to taste the durian coffee. Actually, Blue Gray is a Davao's pride.
That's why kami talaga, ang branding talaga namin is more on lifestyle. Because people like to come here, it's because cozy siya. We have other foods as well aside from the coffee. We have pasta, we have paninis, we have pika-pika, and we also have cakes and pastries. Aside from the Duterte, which is the matcha with durian, yung matcha din mismo talaga namin, matcha tea, is also a bestseller. Blue Gray has been existing since 1998, but we have people have been with us since 1998 to really take care of our crew, because we know and we believe that if we take care of them, they will take care of our customers. Punta po kayo dito, you bring your family and friends, mag-chill po tayo dito sa Blue Gray.
When you visit Davao, please don't forget to visit us in Blue Gray Coffee and taste our durian coffee.
Blue Gray also hosted the press conference for the launch of Business and Beyond held after the Sulong consultation. The event was attended by officers and members of Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, PHILEXPORT, Management Association of the Philippines, other local businessmen and media partners. Other sponsors were V Moringa and Rofi's Restaurant.
From Davao City's famous coffee shop, we visit another of Davao's tourist landmark, the Crocodile Park.
I got fascinated with the ability of crocodile to survive. You know, the crocodile, the oldest living animal in the world.
After 10 years of collaboration with a group of businessmen and experts, Mr. Dizon opened the first crocodile park in the Philippines.
I've seen show in San Diego Zoo. I've seen show in Singapore Zoo. Not saying bad things, but I got a better show. Because we have here different kind of show, like we put food, hanging food, and we see the crocodile jump 2 meters high. You know, and then they're like dancing, and the people are, they're all doing that.
The Davao Crocodile Park is also home to other wildlife like monkeys, tigers, and other species of birds and reptiles. The park also features shops, a butterfly farm, and a restaurant that offers different crocodile recipes, including crocodile ice cream to cap a hearty crocodile meal. Once you have your fill of the park and food and ready to go home, you may wish to take out some pasalubong from their souvenir shop. It sells, among others, high-end crocodile leather belts and bags.
Crocodile skin is the most expensive skin in the world. So here is. So as you know, the most expensive bag is Birkin by Hermes. Soon we'll be exporting that to Singapore, and ultimately the buyer is Hermes.
Or you may want to try another innovative line, the crocodile oil soap.
The crocodile fat, the crocodile meat, the crocodile blood has very strong medicine.
As Mr. Dizon's story shows, nature can be our best friend and provider if only we take good care of it. Welcome back to Business and Beyond, and we are on a spotlight segment. Ano nga bang i-feature natin, Charles?
Well, all eyes are on Davao City, the hometown of President Duterte. Usap-usapan nga ang Davao City will be the next seat of power.
Sabi nga ni President Duterte, patatakbuhin niya ang Pilipinas gaya ng ginawa niya sa Davao.
So, let's take a trip down the Queen City of the South and find out the life in Davao and its business environment.
Let's go!
Ang Davao City ang pangatlo sa pinakamalaking syudad sa Pilipinas, kasunod ng Metro Manila at Cebu.
When I started my business, wala pa si Duterte, wala pa si President. It was not really very good because, alam niyo, lahat ng tao takot pumunta sa Davao. Dahil sa peace and order. And people normally do not go out at night. So, ang ano mo, you are limited, especially if you're in the restaurant business. Limited ka lang sa lunch. And when he started, talagang ganon ang sitwasyon dito. The situation, nag-iba, naging tahimik.
Pagdating sa Davao, kapansin-pansin ang malinis at maayos na mga daan, disiplinadong public transport drivers at syempre pa, ang dumadaming shopping malls at iba pang establishments dito. Other than the physical developments, however, one will also have to mind and be compliant of city ordinances, including the strict implementation of the smoking ban, a curfew on minors starting at 10 p.m., no alcohol selling at 1 a.m., and maximum vehicle speed limit of 30 to 60 kilometers per hour.
Peaceful lang Davao. Walang masyadong nagyuyusi. Walang mga kriminal. Okay naman, maganda. Malinis. At saka respetado lahat ng tao. Kahit saan nga lugar, okay naman sila kasi peaceful ang Davao.
Mga policy niya is medyo strict compared to other places. So, mas napupush kami na implement namin na mas mahigpit. Mas panatag ang mga negosyante na magnegosyo dahil sa leadership ni ngayong Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
A major public service program of the city is Davao 911, a project of former Mayor Duterte which is reportedly the only one of its kind in the Philippines so far.
All you have to do is just dial 911 using your either mobile phones or landline. And you can access the emergency resources of the city.
For this project alone, the city invested various tools and communications equipment, rescue vehicles, and personnel who are ready to respond when an emergency takes place, whether in residences, on the road, and other public places. Complementing this is the setting up of the Public Safety and Security Command Center, or PSSCC, which is in charge of the overall security of the city.
Operating on 24/7 basis para itong call center na nagbabantay sa mga major areas ng Davao City kabilang na ang mga tulay, ilog at mga access roads. With President Duterte's staunch campaign against criminality, will the Davao 911 chief recommend to implement this system in other areas of the country?
It is a must for all especially in highly urbanized cities, that the system should be in place.
Davao is the largest economy in southern Philippines and is one of Asia's fastest growing cities. Its projected average annual growth is 2.53% over a 15-year period. The economy is also expected to benefit from increasing tourist arrivals.
Everybody will be benefited, especially the employment. Yung mga congestion ngayon sa Luzon or sa Cebu can be transferred to Mindanao. Promote more factories to come to Mindanao, especially export-oriented companies. That will be good for the country.
As President Duterte starts the nationwide reforms, Davao City stands as a benchmark. The question is, will these changes bring better business?
I would like to invite all our business viewers and the business partners to come and try SMX. And we offer the best when it comes to meetings, exhibits, and banqueting facilities.
That wraps up the first episode of Business and Beyond. Join us again next week for another half-hour exchange of issues, insights, and opportunities.
You can also take part in our show by joining our social media accounts. Do send us your pictures, comments, and suggestions.
Always remember, connections matter. Get them from
Business and Beyond.